Hi golfers, Nick here for Untitled Golf. It's Friday, so welcome to another lesson on golf tips. This week on Golf Tips, we're going to talk about the driver. I know it's one of the clubs you guys struggle with the most out there, especially trying to adopt the stack and tilt system. So in today's video, I'm going to show you one of my students, Pang, who's done an amazing job in his golf swing, working here at GOLFTEC using the stack and tilt system. Over the past 5 or 6 weeks, we've worked really hard on his golf swing. So in today's video, I'm going to show you some of the secrets of the things we worked on to help him play better golf. One of the most popular questions I have on my channel is about how to use the driver, especially using the stack and tilt system. So in today's video, I'm going to talk through the stages this golfer's gone through to improve his golf, hopefully help you guys out there. So first of all, if you take a look at the screen here, now we talk a lot about the hip sway with the irons, but it's so important also with the driver. You can see here on the left-hand side, his hip sway is away from the target, which is why it becomes red, and you can see his arms flexing. In the after swing, you can see how he moves his hips towards the target, and his arms are a lot straighter. So how long did this take, and what things do we have to work on to help him play better? So in today's video, we're going to talk through the drills and the movements and the things we worked on to help him play better golf. The first thing we worked on was the setup position. You can see here on the screen the shoulder tilt. This references the angle of the shoulders, how much they're tilted away from the target. So you can see on the left-hand side here, and I see this with a lot of golfers when they set up, they kind of lean back to create the side tilt, but actually you have to do it by pushing the hips forward to create a side tilt. So at setup with the driver, don't lean back, right? This golfer was leaning back. At setup, creating too much of a side tilt, and that makes it very difficult to control the low point or the contact and the swing path when you hit the golf ball. So the first thing we worked on there was the shoulder tilt. The next thing we worked on was the body movement in the backswing. So on the screen there, I've just brought up the numbers of the sway. So the shoulder sway is yellow, which means that he's moved his head out of that circle. And then the hip sway is red, so you can see how he's moved through that line. Now, in the one on the right-hand side here, you can see how he's controlled his sways a lot better. So in this particular lesson, the first lesson we did a little bit of work at setup, trying to make sure he gets the right shoulder tilt and then control his sways in the backswing. So first step, like with any change in your golf swing, looking at setup is quite key. So you can see with this golfer's setup, and I see this a lot in golfers here in the Bay and around the world, when they set up with the driver, they're trying to get this tilt, but they kind of, to get that tilt, they kind of lean back, and this is kind of in the wrong way. When you set up to the golf ball, you want to, if you get your centers quite stacked, center of the shoulders, center of the hips, but then bump your hip forward. This creates a side tilt to the spine. And this gives you that opportunity then to help you increase the hip sway impact, to increase that tilt as you hit through the golf ball. That's going to help you launch with the correct angle of attack, but also the right swing path. So when you set up to the driver, don't lean back. Make sure you bump that hip forward at setup. So the first thing we worked on in that lesson, once we got that setup right, was to learn how to turn without swaying in the golf swing. So this golfer tended to sway off the golf ball, and this leads to a number of problems. It makes it a lot harder to hit the golf ball solidly. It encourages more of an out to in swing path. So this golfer was tending to set up with too much tilt, sway off the golf ball, and then from there he was tending to kind of swing across it and bend the arms, and generally the ball slicing off. So that's one of the biggest issues in slicers, are golfers that sway off the golf ball and they maintain these sways as they come back down. So in this next lesson, we're going to take a look at the next thing we worked on to help him with his contact. In the second lesson, we started to work on a better structure to the golf swing. So once we set up better, once we controlled the sways in the backswing, then we could start to work a little bit more on the structure of the golf swing and the arm. So in the original golf swing, take it to impact there, you can see that the arms bend through impact. Now generally when you bend the arms through impact, it's obviously going to affect the contact. Generally you can hit off the toe or the bottom of the club, but also that can also open up the club face. Now in this right hand side swing here, this was at the end of the lesson. These are kind of one of the drills that we worked on, which we're going to discuss in a minute, but you can see the difference of his arms as he comes through impact here. So this was kind of the next thing that we had to work on, was really control how his arms bend through the golf swing. Now, keeping the arms straight is much easier then to control the club face with the left wrist and help you hit better shots and more consistently out the middle. So you can see here, he wasn't doing quite full out swings, but these were kind of the drills that we started to work on. A lot of you guys messaged me on the channel asking me about drills to work on with the irons, but also you can do some of these half swing feels with the driver as well. So in this second lesson here, we started to work on trying to get his arm straight to help improve his contact and his consistency. So we saw there the difference in this golfer's arms as he moves through impact. Now, working on your golf swing, it's with all clubs, it's good to work on drills. So even with a driver here, we worked on these drills where just tried to keep his arms straight. We got his setup right. We got increase these sways. Then we started to work on just some small swings, just trying to keep his arms straight. Using face tape is quite important. Like here we have the GC quad so we can see strike location. But when you're practicing your swing, it's quite important that you do something different. So doing some half swings, doing some practice swings, and just doing some drills, even with the drive, is a good way of improving your golf. So here we are in the most recent lesson. So we've worked on the setup, we worked on controlling the sways in the backswing, we worked on trying to keep these arms straight. Now the final piece was to work on the finish position and help this golfer move his hips towards the target. This is important to create power. It's also important to control swing direction and consistency. So let's take a look at the swing here. So in the original swing we could see the sway was back, arms bending as he went through impact, still bending here, weight stays back. And generally when you keep your weight and the sways back in the golf swing, you swing across it and slice the golf ball. Combined with bending these arms, this golfer was slicing the golf ball, not hitting it very far. And then you can see into the finish here, you kind of turn pretty nicely, but again, he sways too far behind. Now, take a look at the difference here. So let's take a look at the comparison. First of all, let's take a look at the impact position here. So big difference here at impact. You can see on the original golf swing, the sways were back, arms were bending. Now he's got his hips moving towards the target, and you can see this is more of a centered strike as well. You can see on the left-hand side, because the arms are bending, you can see the strike would have been low on the toe. You can see the face opening here as it goes through. Now look at the difference here as he moves forward into the finish. Look at that right foot. See how that right foot slides forward? This is a key move of moving the hips towards the target in the right way. You can see on the original swing, his foot moves behind that line. This is quite a key position to look at. If you look at the difference in the sway here at the finish, look at the right foot. See how in the original swing his right foot is behind that line. Now this is one of the biggest issues I see. Golfers move that right foot back, it kind of increases the turn, it doesn't move the sway towards the target. Now you can see he's pushing towards the target, keeping his arms straight. That's a massive difference and much better results for this golfer. So now we needed to put this all together, and moving the hips forward into the finish is such a key movement. We saw there the difference in his right foot, and this is such a key thing to work on. It's kind of a little secret, if you like, and some of the highest handicappers, they tend to move this right foot and twist it back as they hit through. So I like to see the golfer kind of roll his foot inwards to help him move his sways towards the target. The biggest slicers, they keep their weight back, swing across the golf ball, bend the arms, just like this golfer was here. So by getting him to feel like he banks that right foot in, almost slides it forward towards the target, it helps him hit better shots. So we tried to put these things together. Get the setup right, bump the hip forward, no sway in the backswing, arms straight, and then bank that hip in forward, helps him hit better shots, faster, more powerful, more consistent, and generally trying to help him draw the golf ball. Hi golfers, thanks for watching. Just so you know, like we've seen this mug before, this is the Stack and Tilt mug here, the 10 words, and always go back to this quite a lot. On this mug here, it's got weight forward. So when you set up, weight forward with the hips, with the driver. Shoulder down, so this is something that we worked on in kind of the sways of the body. I think too many golfers kind of move their shoulder across instead of downwards in the backswing and tilting. Hands in is something that's quite important as well. When you swing, moving the hands in around your body is going to help you draw the golf ball. Arms straight. We saw that with this golfer here, makes a big difference to contact, also this left wrist and striking the golf ball more consistently. And then finally, tuck hips, and that's basically the golfer extending, pushing the hips forward, banking that right foot in to help him move the sways towards the target and improve the swing direction. So thanks for watching golfers, hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions on that, anything you've worked on, your swing, any drills that you work on, if you found anything that works for you, I'll be interested to hear in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next week for another video. The most